Welcome to the show that takes up no more than 5 minutes of your time, but could help you gain massive real estate knowledge. It's 5 Minutes in Real Estate with best-selling author Shane Willis.
Hello, it's Shane Willis, Pensacola real estate expert, bringing you today's episode. All right, so today I've heard a few things, and I have a little bit more insight about this than most brokers do. But I've heard some talk about loosening credit standards, and are we on a way for another bubble? So I wanted to just kind of give you a background a little bit on it. I owned a mortgage company back in 2002 to 2008. I was in the mortgage business. I've had my real estate license a lot longer, but I actually got my mortgage license. I had both my mortgage and my real estate license for a lot longer time. I got my mortgage broker's license first in Hawaii, 97, I think. 97, 98, somewhere around there. It's been about 20 years. Anyways, I owned the mortgage company. I've worked in the mortgage business, but I owned the mortgage company from 2002 to 2008 when the crash happened, the economic crash happened. That bubble that happened, lending standards that happened during that bubble, a lot of it was caused by the banks. A lot of it was caused by lenders just giving away money to pretty much anybody. I saw some shops that were getting people that worked at McDonald's, 8 investment property loans all at the same time. Now that was a little shady because they basically had 8 different lenders that thought they were just giving them one. But standards were so low that it's kind of easy to get done that way. There was also what they called a pick-a-pay loan, where you picked your payment. You could either pay the full principal and interest payment, you could pay interest only, or you could pay the minimum payment, which did not even cover the interest for the month. So your loan amount grew. But it was being sold to a lot of people for saying that, real estate's always going to go up, when in actuality that product was built for a business owner that was seasonal. So let's take a florist, for instance. A florist during the summer is usually pretty slow. They have some weddings, they have some other stuff, but they're usually pretty slow. Now, the holidays, they pick up, and then, of course, Mother's Day and Valentine's Day, really good months. So those months, the object of that particular loan was, during those months, you pay more than the principal and interest payment, and then during your slow months, you can just pay the minimum payment, which would help your cash flow for a business like that. Those type loans have not come back. I have heard some other loans that, what we used to call subprime, come back, and I'm kind of glad to see it. I think that's an underserved market. You get business owners that are, that make a lot of money, but they also write a lot of stuff off. You get that done, and they're kind of tough to prove their income. I couldn't tell you how many people that I did these loans for in the past. 400, 500, 600,000 a year is what I make, but I write everything off, so my taxes show that I make 30 grand a year. That's just good accounting in my mind, but I can't lend to you on $30,000 as a year in income if you're trying to buy a $400,000 house. But I know you can afford it. So what do? How does that mortgage market get served? Well, they came out with what they call a bank statement loan. In essence, you get 24 months worth of bank statements, add up all the deposits, subtract out some of the business expenses, and that's your income. So we're actually truly looking at your income, not just your tax returns. Those loans have come back. I'm seeing those done, have been back for a year or so for certain mortgage or for certain buyers. Now, the one thing that's different now than it was before, you're not getting 100% financing with a bank statement loan. So you're still gonna have to put some money out. It used to be you get 100%, almost 105. I've seen 105% loans. Buying a house for $200, we'll give you $210,000. That covered all closing costs and everything else. So those were the low mortgage standards way back in the day. That's what caused the housing bubble. Now the Mortgage Bankers Association came out with standards of credit, what a normal market is, where we are, and where the standards were during the bubble. And I'll actually show it. It's a nice graph. I'm going to put it in the notes. So you can see that the bubble was way above the standards, and we are still way under standards. There are some mortgage markets now that are still underserved. Now, has credit, and this is what sparked this whole conversation today, has credit started to loosen a little? Yes. Yeah, it has. You still are going to have prime loans, your VA, your FHA, your conventional, that are prime rates. And those standards are still pretty much saying you verify everything. That's what the majority of people use. Are there, and I hate to use the word subprime, but it's true. Are they subprime? Meaning I got a little bit lower credit score, or I can only prove my income this way. I can't prove it. Are those coming around now? Yeah. Are you going to pay a higher rate if you have to use a subprime loan? Yes. Do I think that is inflating, and does the Mortgage Bankers Association or the National Association of Realtors think it's inflating real estate prices right now? No, because when you look at the portfolio of mortgage lenders as a whole, it's still really low and really conservative. That pendulum has not swung all the way back to where we were back in the heyday, if you will, or where that housing bubble happened. So do I think we're heading back for that same area? No, not even close. Not even close. Do some of these quote-unquote subprime loans need to return? Yes. Do they need to be at 100%? No. That's where you got loan-to-value issues and other things that we saw in the bubble. Should the pick-a-pay loans return? Probably not. Although I have seen someone that is starting to reintroduce that to the marketplace, but it's like 50% loan-to-value. So, if you're buying a $200,000 house, the only way you can use this pick-a-pay type loan is if you put $100,000 down. Or if you're trying to refinance, you better have a whole lot of equity in it. That may make sense for the right person. I lost loan officers when that product came out because, to be honest, the product paid the mortgage brokers quite well, paid the loan officers well to do them. And I lost some loan officers when I told my entire staff, I had about 100 loan officers that worked for me, and I put it out that the only way we would write one of those is if myself or my vice president signed off on it. Because I was not going to write that. The problem that a lot of people were doing in that for that particular loan was they were giving it to everybody. So the teacher or the deputy that makes the same check every week, that loan is not for them. But because it paid so well, we had some scrupulous brokers out there just trying to push it and sell it to everybody. And so when I told them that I had to sign off on those, and I would only sign off on those if you proved to me that it was a cyclical business, I actually lost some loan officers. And I was fine to see them go. They were going to put their pocketbook in front of our clients. I didn't want them working for me anyways. Have I seen some of those come back? Yeah, like I said, but it's not going to be at the LTVs that it used to be, the loan to values that it used to be. So, has lending loosened? Yeah. Are we anywhere close to the housing boom that we saw with lending standards that were just ridiculous? Nowhere even close. All right, that's all I got for you today. As always, if you have not subscribed to get the tips, tricks, get these graphs so you can take a look at what I'm talking about. Get over to 5minutesinrealestate.com. It's 5minutesinrealestate.com. Also, subscribe to the podcast on whatever player that you enjoy most. iTunes, Google Play, Android, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Yeah, all those. Just find us, hit subscribe so you get notified when we update these things. And finally, as always, I hope you found a little value in this. And if you did, or any other episode that I put out, I never ask for payments for these things. What I do ask, however, is that if you found value in it, you share it on social media. Have a great Thursday.